A father who once feared her future now stands proud beside her. Poetry, English poetry. The story begins in a quiet home where a father watches his daughter grow, and every sunrise paints new hope across the walls, as if life itself whispers that change is always arriving and never waits. And this father once feared her future because he saw the world as a storm and his daughter as a soft light, and he wondered if that light could survive the harsh winds of time. But the days kept passing, and the little girl kept walking forward, and in her eyes he saw something stronger than he had ever imagined, and he realized that strength was not taught, it was born. He remembered nights when he held her tiny hand and feared losing her to the unknown days that stretched ahead like long, unmarked roads, and he prayed without words that she would find courage when he could not guide her, and that she would find wisdom where he could not follow. And he walked through each chapter of her life with a heart that held both hope and fear, and he stayed awake through storms of doubt, wondering if he had given her enough love to build her own shelter when the world tried to shake her spirit. But time has a way of revealing truth, and the truth was that she was not fragile. She was fire. She was quiet strength. She was steady courage. She was every dream he never knew how to name, and when he watched her rise from her own struggles, he felt a shift inside him, because the girl he once feared for was becoming the woman he admired, and the world that once frightened him was now a place she walked with confidence, like someone who carries her own sunrise in her chest. He saw her fall, he saw her rise. He saw her break and rebuild herself, and every time she stood again, she showed him that the future is not an enemy, but a landscape shaped by heart and resilience. And he slowly understood that fearing her future was only a shadow created by his love, but her own strength was a sun bright enough to dissolve that shadow completely. Now he stands beside her proud, not because she is perfect, but because she is brave enough to be imperfect and still move forward, and he sees her facing life with gentle hands and a determined soul, and he knows that the storms he once imagined cannot take her away from herself, because she has learned to walk through the rain with a heart that refuses to dim. He stands proud because she built her path with honesty, with effort, with silent nights of doubt and long mornings of trying again, and he understands now that the future he once feared is the same future she has learned to embrace with open arms and steady breath, and he sees her as a mirror of strength, reflecting everything he once hoped she would grow into and more. The father stands by her side now with calm eyes and a heart no longer scared, because she has grown into a story of her own, a story with chapters of courage and pages filled with quiet victories and moments where she learned to choose herself even when the world made. The father watches his daughter step into a world that once felt too vast, too unpredictable, too heavy for the small hands he used to hold. And yet she walks forward with a grace that seems to calm even the loudest winds around her. And he sees now that her journey is not shaped by the fears he once carried, but by the courage she built within herself through quiet years of learning, falling, rising, and trying again. And in her every step he finds a lesson he never knew he needed. He remembers the early days when he would lift her onto his shoulders so she could see beyond the tall walls of their home and how she used to point at the sky as if it was a place she planned to claim, and he would smile at her dreams while silently trembling inside, fearing that the world might try to dim her glow. But now the same sky does not frighten him anymore, because he has seen her grow wings, strong enough to fly through storms without losing who she is. Her spirit carries a softness that does not weaken it. Instead, it sharpens it like a quiet river, cutting through mountains, creating new paths through sheer persistence. And he watches as she moves through life with kindness that disarms cruelty, with patience that answers chaos with a steady calm. And he realizes that the strength he feared she lacked was actually unfolding inside her with every year that passed, like a flower blooming at its own pace, untouched by doubt. The daughter walks with purpose, and he sees how she faces her trials with a heart that refuses to break even when the weight of the world rests briefly on her shoulders. And he admires how she builds dreams out of ordinary days, how she finds hope in silence and meaning in moments that others might overlook. And he learns to trust her choices because she has proven through every struggle that she knows how to shape her own destiny. There were nights he used to worry if she would find her place in a world that often tests the brave, but now he understands that she does not search for a place, she creates one with every choice, every step, every breath. And he sees her crafting a life that reflects her inner truth, and he stands behind her not as a shield from the world, but as a witness to her growth and as a quiet source of strength when she decides to rest. He sees her now building her dreams with hands that once clung to his for reassurance, but now move boldly, shaping her own path. And he feels pride that cannot be measured, because she has become more than he ever imagined. She would become a story that continues to rise, a melody that refuses to fade, a light that guides even him through moments of uncertainty. The father begins to understand that the future he once feared was only a reflection of his own doubts and not her limitations. And now, when he looks at her, he sees a woman who has earned every step of her journey through determination, through tenderness, through unshakable belief in her own becoming. And he stands proud because she is not just surviving the world. The father and daughter now stand at a point in life where the past looks softer than it once felt, and the future feels brighter than it once appeared. And in this moment, the father sees everything with new eyes, because he has finally learned that love is not meant to fear tomorrow, but to shape it. And the daughter, who once held his hand for support, now becomes the quiet force that steadies his own steps through the changing seasons of their shared journey. He watches her walk ahead with confidence woven into her every movement, and he sees how the world bends slightly toward her, light how her presence softens the edges of hard days, how her kindness carries the power to change hearts and soften storms. And he thinks of the time when he feared she might not withstand the weight of life, but now he knows that she has grown into a pillar stronger than anything he imagined, one built not of stone but of spirit. With each day he sees her rising in ways that silence even his oldest doubts, and he understands that her strength is not a shield but a calm flame that continues to burn through every wind that tries to dim it. And she walks with a softness that carries courage in every step, and he realizes this is the kind of strength the world needs, the kind that heals without noise and guides without force. As she continues forward, he walks beside her, no longer as a protector, but as a companion, learning from her resilience, her patience, her ability to find beauty in moments that others overlook, and he discovers that she carries within her a wisdom shaped by every challenge she has faced and every victory she has quietly claimed, and he feels honored to witness her life unfolding like a story written by time and courage together. He remembers the moments when she used to run to him with the smallest worries, believing he was the only one who could fix them. And now he watches her handle the complexities of life with a calm that surprises even him, and he realizes that the same girl who once hid behind his strength has now grown into the woman who stands before him with her own unshakable core, and he finds peace in knowing that she no longer needs him to hold her up, yet still chooses to walk by his side. In her laughter, he hears echoes of her childhood, but in her voice, he hears the depth of her heart, the lessons she has learned, the courage she carries, and the mercy she practices, and he sees her as a reflection of all the love poured into her, but also as someone who carved herself through determination and through faith in her own becoming, and when he looks at her, he sees hope made real. She carries her dreams with both hands holding them, the way she once held his, and he sees her building her future not with fear but with intention, laying each step with trust in herself and trust in the journey ahead, and he knows now that she will walk far beyond the limits he once feared for her, and that her path will shine with the strength she has grown from within. The father takes a breath.